Imagine the United States in the late 1930s, a nation still recovering from the Great Depression, but already preparing for the possibility of global conflict. Factories were waking up, steel was moving again, and new military standards were being drafted. At General Motors, inside the Chevrolet division, engineers received a task that would shape the logistics backbone of the U.S. Army: to design a new light military truck that could be built quickly, maintained easily, and adapted into dozens of specialized versions. From this requirement emerged the Chevrolet G4100 and later the improved G7100 series, one of the most versatile American military truck families of the Second World War. The story began with the G4100, the first attempt by Chevrolet to create a standardized light four-wheel drive vehicle for the Army. These early trucks, produced in small numbers, helped define the basic formula that would later evolve into the G7100 line. By 1940, the Army required a stronger chassis, better suspension, more reliable four-wheel drive, and improved off-road capability. GM responded by upgrading the platform, redesigning the frame, and introducing what would become the full G7100 family, trucks rated for a 1.5-ton load, approximately 3,307 pounds, on all-terrain and capable of performing dozens of military roles. At the heart of every G7100 series truck was the same rugged power plant, the Chevrolet Stovebolt Six, a 3.5-liter inline-six petrol engine, approximately 214 cubic inches. It produced 83 horsepower at 3,300 revolutions per minute, with a torque output of roughly 233 newton-meters, approximately 172 pound-feet, a figure that gave the trucks enough pulling strength to climb steep grades while fully loaded. The engine's cast-iron block, mechanical simplicity, and reliable lubrication system made it ideal for field maintenance. Soldiers appreciated it because it always started, even in cold conditions, and could run on lower-grade fuel without immediate issues. All trucks in the series shared a 4-speed manual transmission paired with a 2-range transfer case. This gave drivers 8 usable forward ratios when switching between high and low range. The full-time availability of a 4x4 configuration transformed the G7100 into a highly capable off-road machine for its size. The wheelbase of 3.02 meters, approximately 9.9 feet, combined with a ground clearance of 25 centimeters, approximately 9.8 inches, provided enough stability and agility for rough terrain, forest tracks, and muddy supply routes. What made the Chevrolet G7100 series so influential was not just its reliability, but also the incredible number of variants produced. The G7103 was the standard cargo truck, the most recognizable version, used to transport troops, ammunition, and supplies. The G7113 tractor unit was equipped with a pintle hook and strengthened rear section, allowing it to tow artillery or specialized trailers. The G7128 became a panel van, often used as a mobile workshop or communications vehicle. The G7165 was designed for telephone line maintenance. The G7163 was a dedicated wrecker with a crane and winch system for recovering damaged vehicles or lifting equipment. The G7173 became a dump truck used heavily by engineer battalions. Some variants were converted into ambulances, others into radio trucks, searchlight carriers, or small fire engines. In total, more than 150,000 trucks of the G7100 family were built, each playing a different but essential role. Despite using a single basic chassis, each version had its own personality. The cargo trucks often featured wooden or steel cargo beds with drop-side panels, allowing for quick loading and unloading. Wrecker versions carried reinforced rear frames, larger winches, and towing gear. Panel vans received insulated bodies with tool racks and electrical equipment. All shared the same enclosed cab early in the war, but from mid-1942, many vehicles were equipped with a simplified open cab with a canvas top, designed to conserve steel and speed up production. This open cab also improved visibility in jungle or desert environments, although crews suffered more from weather exposure. The G7100 trucks excelled in multiple theaters of war. In North Africa, their light weight of around 3,240 kilograms, approximately 7,143 pounds, and robust 4x4 drivetrain allowed them to traverse desert terrain more easily than heavier vehicles. They carried water, fuel, spare parts, and ammunition across long distances where supply lines stretched thin. In Italy, their narrower width of 2.03 meters, approximately 6.7 feet, allowed them to navigate mountain roads and destroyed villages where larger trucks struggled. In France and the Low Countries, G7100 trucks formed part of the fast-moving columns that supported advancing infantry, delivering fuel for tanks, rations for troops, and communication equipment for headquarters units. One of the greatest strengths of the G7100 series was its ability to operate with minimal maintenance. The electrical system was basic but durable, the carburetor easy to clean, and the transfer case rarely failed. Spare parts were abundant, and because the platform was standardized, mechanics trained on one version could repair any other. This was crucial in battle situations, where trucks were often overloaded far beyond their official 1.5-ton rating, approximately 3,307 pounds, sometimes carrying up to 2 tons, approximately 4,409 pounds, on roads or even more during emergencies. The role of these vehicles in war is often overshadowed by larger and more famous machines like the GMC CCKW or the Studebaker US6. But the Chevrolet G7100 trucks were essential in keeping American and Allied units moving before the full expansion of production. They filled the logistic gap in the early years, helping to establish supply routes, support training camps, and maintain communications infrastructure. In the Pacific Theater, the G7100's smaller size allowed it to operate on narrow jungle paths and improvised landing strips where heavy six-wheelers could not go. After the war, many G7100 trucks were sold to civilians or transferred to Allied countries under surplus programs. Farmers converted them into equipment carriers, fire departments used them as utility vehicles, and construction companies adapted them for hauling materials. Their engines were so durable that countless trucks remained in operation into the 1950s and even the 1960s. Some countries used military surplus G7100 trucks well into the 1970s, especially in remote regions where reliability mattered more than appearance. Today, surviving examples of the Chevrolet G7100 series are prized by collectors and military vehicle enthusiasts. Restored units often appear at historical events, painted in wartime olive drab, their engines still producing the familiar smooth tone of the straight six. They represent a chapter of history where mobility was everything, and where a simple, well-designed truck could influence entire campaigns. The Chevrolet G7100 series stands as a symbol of practicality, durability, and adaptability. It was not glamorous, but it was dependable. It was not the largest or the strongest, but it was everywhere. And it remains a reminder that victory in a global conflict relies just as much on the trucks that carry supplies, tow equipment, and support frontline units as it does on the tanks and planes that dominate the battlefield. If you want to hear more stories about the vehicles that quietly shaped history, make sure to subscribe. Many more machines like the Chevrolet G7100 still have stories waiting to be told.